Hello, hello. It is your friend and mortgage broker, David Carr, and this is the Real Estate Professional Podcast of Phoenix, episode number 1. I am a mortgage broker. I've helped hundreds of families over the past 5 years buy their homes. I'm here, joined with me today, Liz from Realty One, who's going to help explain her story and how to buy a home in this crazy Phoenix market. So Liz, thank you so much for being here with me today. So yeah, if you could just kind of give me an intro, how'd you get started into real estate and how long have you been doing it?
Thank you for inviting me, first of all. I actually have been doing real estate for about 3 years. I am with Realty One in Goodyear, and I started. It's a funny story. I actually have a funny story.
Yeah, okay. We love stories here.
When I was in my mid-20s, I was interested in real estate.
So yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that. So mid-20s, I was very interested. I got into property management back then, and something like really caught my attention. I was like, okay, I'm going to start taking courses. After that, I had a really negative experience and personally with real estate, like a really bad experience. Really? Yeah. And I was like, okay, I want to learn more. Did I do something wrong? Was it the process? What happened, right? So I still was very invested into learning, and I started taking courses. And when I was unit 3, I don't know if it was my age, the experience that I had, or whoever was giving the course that freaked me out. And I walked out of there. I was married back then, and my husband picked me up, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he was like, why not? I was like, I am not going to be responsible for people's future. Like, I cannot do this. I'm going back to property management. And end of story. Went back to property management. Fast forward a few years only. I do property management. I go into the fitness industry managing as well. And I'm in my office, and one of my peer and friends, she had a little bit of questions about her tenants. She had a rental home, and I was like, oh, I can help you. I was a property manager for so long, right? And we started talking about it, and I wanted to find answers for her. So I went in, I was like, wait, I can't represent you because I don't have a license. So went in again, I was like, I should probably get my license, and I could possibly help people in their rentals, property management again. Once I went in, I registered for the school. I started talking about it with people around me because I work in an environment where I had a lot of people around me, and people started getting invested. Oh my God, as soon as you have your license, like, call me.
Yeah.
I have a cousin. I was like, wait, I can sell homes too? I was just doing it for a rental thing, right?
Oh.
So that's the story. I finalized. I never went into property management again, and I just started selling homes.
Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like in the beginning, you had a bad experience with an instructor. Can you kind of explain, did they leave like a, impression that real estate was something that it wasn't? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are watching who may have a similar, impression that want to get into real estate.
Yeah. So my experience was, I still don't know like where it went. I probably didn't pay attention to the transaction, but I did run into an agent. I'm not going to talk bad about anyone, but that got me the loan and everything. She didn't get the loan, but got me approved and got me the house no matter what. When I signed, we're talking about a few years ago, there was like a big booklet of like loans.
Oh yeah, you're killing like half a tree, right? When you have to close.
So we're signing. We didn't realize that in a year my interest was going to go up. That was something that either I overheard, somebody didn't tell me, it wasn't mentioned. It wasn't like, hey, caution, your interest is not set, it's going to go up. So fast forward 1 year, I get a letter from my mortgage company. My payment went up $1,000.
$1,000. Which isn't just like
in San Diego.
In San Diego.
Yeah. So I was like, absolutely not. I can't do this. I called the agent. I was like, hey, like, what happened? And she was like, it was mentioned. I don't know what happened. And anyways, I moved really quick, super quick. I said, you need to help me out of this. And we did a short sale on the house that we worked so hard for a whole year to maintain. And I ended up renting an apartment before I thought my credit would get messed up, which was a good thing after a bad experience, because that's how I got into, again, property management, ended up with an amazing company, and happy story then. But I always take that like experience now that I'm doing this to be like, I cannot over inform people. I can't underinform people.
I see. So it's almost like you don't want your clients to feel the same pain you did in that whole situation, because I can't imagine what it feels like to go through that, the anxiety, the pressure. So that almost seems like it's one of your reasons why you want to, like, help people and inform people. Like you said, over inform, which is extremely important. Is there something that you feel like people can't know enough about? Like if there's someone out there today who's trying to buy a home, like is there a piece of information about buying a house that you feel like someone can't hear too many times? Like you want to keep drilling this in?
I don't think there's a piece of information. I just think it's explaining what the transaction would look like. I think it's being transparent with this is not an easy transaction, because I hear that so much. Like, it's so easy. Buy a home, a happy ending, closing videos.
I guess that's why Amazon doesn't sell homes, right? You can't buy it on Prime.
Yes. And it's, I'm not saying it's not going to be one of your most like happy moments in life.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the process is not easy.
Mhm.
Like getting I don't think it's buying the home that's not easy. I think it's the loan process that's not easy. Like even when you have great credit, income, money in your bank account, it's not an easy process. Somebody is lending you not $10, not $20, like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, right? So like they have to be like, if I was lending you right now $10,000, I would probably like investigate everything about you. Where do you work? Why do you work there? How long have you been there?
Yeah, of
How
course.
much do you spend eating out? I don't know. I would go all over the place, right? So people just think that the loan process is going to be easy. And it's not going to be easy. My job and your job is to make the process as stress-free as we can possibly make it for the client. Like relieve some stress. Let me negotiate. Let me get upset with people. Let me yell at people. You sit there and just follow my direction. That's what I usually tell people.
And that usually, I'm sure, works the best because, to your point, they don't teach mortgages in school. It's almost like a separate language, and they really do need trust in like your professional who's working with you, that they have that they have your best interest, because it is difficult, it is scary, it is like a second language. So I really like what you talked about, how you want them to understand about the process. It's not one specific piece, but more holistically understanding everything that we need to do. So are there any like misconceptions about the loan process that you deal with like on a day-to-day basis with people?
There's a lot of misinformation.
We just had to do top three. Yeah, or top one.
Top one, you can qualify her for a home in any situation.
Mhm.
That's the top one that I get. Like my credit is horrible. I have no money saved at all. And the other agent told me that I can get a home for $100 down or $500 down or $1,000 down. It's not false. It's just there's more information to it. You have to qualify for a certain program. You have to and at the end of the day, like, would I put someone to buy a house with zero money in their account, even if they qualified? Absolutely not. Things happen in life and you have to have something. So as a human, I would never say like, how much money do you have in your bank account? $500, spend it in a house and let's move on. Like, no, like have a cushion for you, like have a backup in case of an emergency, in case something breaks at the house, your car breaks, you lose your job. That's our normal things in life that happen. And they have to have that backup. The other thing is credit is not important. Credit is important, right? But it's not impossible.
No.
Like there's ways to fix it. Like I've come from a rough time in life where my credit went bumpy,
Yeah.
and we have to get out of there. Like it's not like, oh, it's bad, let me just mess it up more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, it's bad, I can't do anything about it. It's bad, how can we help you out? Like, and that's what professionals like you are there for, right? Like I know I talked about my bad experience. I had a really good experience as a client also with another agent in a whole different atmosphere. And I coming to Arizona, nothing, like literally SUV, a TV, a box with my shoes, and a bag of clothes. That's how I landed in Arizona.
Really?
Yes.
And
In a one-bedroom apartment.
and a one better, you said, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yes. And I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. I fell in love with the city, fell in love with the people. I was like, this is where I'm going to call
Nice.
home. Now I wanted something.
Mhm.
But I knew that in that rough time that I had passed those 5 years prior, my credit was not the best. I had a card debt, and I was like, how do I start? I didn't ask my friend. I didn't ask my mom. I didn't ask my sister. I went to a loan officer and I said, this is where I'm at right now. What do I need to get a house in 1 year? And it was so accurate. Like, I can't even over explain it. Like, it was so clear. This is the amount of money you're going to need for deposit, for closing costs, for blah, blah, blah. This is where your credit needs to be at. You need to pay off your car. So I was able to start point, make a plan. So immediately, I'm not going to take a lot of time of that, but immediately moved to I lived in Paradise Valley, moved to a cheaper area that I disliked, but it was a 1-year commitment.
You knew it wasn't going to be forever. It was just a temporary stage to get to where you wanted to go.
Yes. And then from there, I got a part-time job. So I worked 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m.
You were a woman on a mission. It sounds like you were not messing around.
So that summer, it was funny because I paid off my car. And then that summer, I sent my son to San Diego because I was going to go hard working day and night. And by September, this was May, by September, I had the funds to buy a house.
Oh, wow.
So it's a process. You just have to know where you're at and what is it going to take for you to buy a house. Like the real story.
The real story.
The fairy tale.
Not the fairy tale, the $500 down, no money down, I have no credit. So it seems like once you had that roadmap of what you needed to do, it became like, okay, now it's time to go in go mode. Now it's time. How do I make this extra money? And I see that a lot personally with clients who sometimes they want to buy a house, but they don't have enough funds. They maybe have too much debt. And when you break it down and you break it down to smaller pieces, like, hey, you just need to pay this off, which means you just maybe need to work a few more hours a week. In 3 months, you'll have the money to buy a house. So I really do believe in breaking it down. But to follow that up, so you were a fitness instructor, and I would like to kind of touch on that a little bit because I personally love fitness. I think is no better way to get a community together than a workout. So if you can explain a little bit about that fitness side.
Yeah. So maybe 8 years ago, I was still in property management and I decided to change my health. My family runs with tons of diseases that I did not want in my life. And I just wanted I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. So I started going to the gym. I ended up maybe 6 months into a Zumba class that became my Saturday routine.
Like without hesitation, you're there.
Love the instructor till now. I have in contact with that instructor.
Oh, that's awesome.
The instructor. And I was there and I remember being like maybe 6 weeks into every Saturday being there. And I am a business person. So I said, wait, I can learn the choreo. Why am I not getting paid for this? Why am I here every Saturday for an hour?
You're like, I could be doing this too and be getting paid.
Yes.
Do what I love and get paid to do it.
Like, isn't that like a gift? Like,
yes.
Dancing, you're going to be doing what you like and you're going to get paid and you're still here every Saturday. So that's how I started. Fast forward, I invested in like a Zumba certification, kickboxing, cycling, and a PT, personal training certification. Fast forward 45 days, I was teaching 14 to 16 classes a week.
14 to 16. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say you liked it?
I loved it. Yeah. and it was like either before work or after work or on the weekends and just picking up classes. I worked for 3 gyms in San Diego. So I didn't have exclusivity with no one. It was like 3 places that I used to teach. And I loved it so much. At some point, it was like a little bit more personal, but I had a boyfriend back then. And he said, that's a great hobby, but you can't live out of fitness. And I looked at him. I was like, oh, sure I can. Like, I sure can. I love it. Like, dump the boyfriend.
I kept the fitness. There you go.
Fitness. I was like, you're supposed to believe in me. What the heck? So dump the boyfriend. And I moved on to, okay, what are my skills? My skills are the people and managing. So instead of managing properties, let me manage gyms. So I went completely into managing gyms. I started managing like their group fitness studios area. And then opportunities came along, started managing the gym, then started managing the district. And that was that. So
I love it. So this is a personal question. When do you ever have any type of, marketing plan for fitness and real estate where you can cross both of the worlds? Because I just think that would be the coolest thing. A fitness class, first time home buyer, something along those lines.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Check it out. Get signed up.
It's gonna come. I am waiting for that perfect, like, I'm gonna try it out. Perfect open house where it has the nice backyard where you can be like, there's a dance class during this open house. Come join me.
Oh my God, that would bring the people in.
Epic.
That would be the people in. Watch out, because Liz is getting something in the works.
I'm gonna need your smoke gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, wait till you see that.
Yeah. So no, I am. I'm actually gonna start doing a lot more stuff like that.
Mhm.
And because when I was teaching some classes before becoming a district manager,
Yeah,
I connected so well with people during classes.
I'm sure, because you're getting a great workout together. Like those are probably the best type of clients too, because they already like you, working out with you, and then they're gonna trust you when you go buy a house with.
Yeah. And it really helped me. Like the first probably been in the industry 3 years, the first 2 years, 2 years and a half, I didn't really do any social media
No.
for real estate.
All word of mouth.
All of it. It was just like literally I was impacted by the fact that 80% of everyone that I've helped in real estate have been referrals.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a great way. Just like I feel like real estate professionals don't realize how important that is. Just like if you were to get like, you needed, let's just say a plumber, right? There's someone who takes care of you, gives you an honest price, takes care of your problem. And then you hear your family member or friend needs a plumber too. Who are you going to recommend? You're going to recommend that guy. So it's the same thing with real estate professionals. But I think sometimes we don't think about that stuff, and we're just always looking for the next, the next
Mhm.
client. Like,
Yeah.
how do I advertise to get the next client?
Yeah.
We're sitting on databases of gold, people.
Yeah. I didn't really like think it, even though I do plan ahead, but I didn't think it. I just knew I don't have the time. I have a full-time job. It's a very demanding full-time job. And I don't have the time I honestly, in the first 2 years and a half, I never even attended a meeting with my brokerage ever.
Really? So you were like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be, as they say, like a secret agent almost.
It wasn't intentional. It was what it was.
Yeah.
I had to talk to people that were around me and they already knew who I was.
Okay, I see.
They knew how committed I was to a customer's experience, to them as a friend, to them as a boss. I got like so many people out of people that worked with me, either took a class with me, trained in the same gym. I met loan officer. Well, we met at the gym.
That's right.
I do partner.
Shout out Masa Fitness.
Oops. Yes. I met so many people that by the time I was ready to like go solo and like really put a lot of time, those 40 hours here, I've already had all that networking that I can go ahead and try it for like without any effort, I would say.
Okay.
And now I'm okay. Like now I have more time. Let's do more social media. Let's do, like try to get the word out. My main thing with social media is my vision is to more use it as an education platform. And it's going to be like two things. It's a lot of education. It's going to be a lot of Hispanic community because I am blessed with speaking Spanish and English. That's a blessing. And I don't think there's a lot of education in Spanish. There's a lot of advertising in Spanish, but there's not a lot of education in Spanish. So that's where my vision is. And I do want to clarify, I don't ever attend to the meetings yet, but I have a amazing mentor that like I picked her day one when I got my license, and she asked me, do you want to think about it? I was like, no, I'm going to be on your team. And she walked me through every single transaction till today. Like valuable to do that. So even though like I didn't attend to meetings, she kept me super informed, super on trend with what was going on, any changes in the market, walked me through every single transaction so I wouldn't have to go back and be like, oh my God, I made a mistake. Like literally helped me so much.
It sounds like you found someone who's like a perfect fit. Did you join that brokerage because of her, or okay, so you knew her before?
Yeah. It's so really weird. But when I was signing for my first home,
Mm-hmm.
the person that was doing the escrow and the title,
Yeah.
me and my agent were talking about me getting a license. I was about to go do the exam, and they were like, when you get your license, come back to us. we want to introduce you to someone. So I did. As soon, like, minute I got my license, emailed them, I got my license, and they introduced me to Krista, which is, I've been in her team since I got my license. And somebody told me, like, interview people, interview brokerages, see who, whatever. And I met her. She came from a background very similar. Like, she had a full-time job for about 5 to 7 years before leaving it for real estate. She's a people's person. That was very important for me. Like, someone that's very dedicated to help people. She doesn't really need real estate to, like, pay her bills, just like me, So I was never, like, rushing for a transaction because my mortgage was due. I was rushing through a transaction because my client's needed the home at this point, like, because I had a full-time job. And when I realized that we had all that in common, she said, I'm going to send you the contract. Think about it. Love to have you on my team. And I said, no, like, let me sign it right now.
You're ready. So it really seemed like a perfect fit.
Yes.
So you said something there that was one thing that I wanted to follow up. When it's like, it's almost, they call it commission breath, right? When some agents, are really hurting for, like, their commission, you can almost smell it, like, on them. That's why they call it commission breath. So I think the fact that you were able, like, to not have to have that, and that she wasn't trying to, like, she was desperate to have you, it almost feels like, there's no pressure. I can make a better decision here. One thing that I want to talk to you that you told me outside of the show is that you have a little bit of experience with Section 8 housing as a landlord. I didn't know too much about that, and I thought it was, like, one of the coolest things, because I think if you're an investor and you want to, rent your house out with Section 8, that there's some, tips or some value that you could give those people who are watching this show.
Yes, I actually don't even know how we got in that conversation when it came up, but it's such a good program. I learned about Section 8 when I lived in San Diego. I managed properties that accepted the voucher, Section 8 voucher. And for the most part, in a bigger property scale, or back then, they were almost like hiring me to, like, almost reduce the amount of Section 8 vouchers in the property, because it is kind of like a restriction of, like, how much can you charge. There's certain restrictions to it, right?
Little, like, caveats.
Yes,
Okay.
when you're talking about, like, a whole property, right, with tons of apartments in
So
the same spot.
not for, like, a mom and pop investor who wants to rent out their house.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So anyways, I knew about it. I'm very familiar with the program. And when I bought my second home, I put out my first home for rental. So I did Facebook Market, and I got tons of leads to try to rent my home. And I was so nervous about it because I was like, oh my God, who do I trust with my home, right? Like, I worked so hard for it. Like, who do I trust? And all of a sudden, somebody in my inbox said, do you accept Section 8 vouchers? And because I knew what the program was, I asked, how much is your voucher for? And she was like, it's X amount of money. And I was like, I'm interested. Do you want to come see the house? And that's how I got into it. I didn't know how easy it was to get into it as a landlord.
As a landlord.
Yes, as an owner, like a house owner. Like, I did not know how much benefit it would bring to me, because I would always just rent it out. Like, I had no clue why my boss wanted to put 75% of people on Section 8.
Okay. Yeah. So if you can explain it to, the mom and pop landlords who maybe have 1 to 5 homes, single family homes, right? How do they put their home up for rent using Section 8?
Yes. So I got it the very, very easy way, because somebody came to me and said, I have a voucher. This is the application. This is how the requirements, and it's super easy requirements. It's your house has to be listed as a rental officially. So go to the county. It's super easy to rent it. You have to pay taxes. You can't skip those.
Yeah.
So that's that. You do that. Your house has to be in good condition. Like, it has to meet a safety standard. So it's super, super easy. Nothing very similar than an FHA inspection. Like, it's nothing very different than that. Once your house meets the requirements, now you can sign a lease with the tenant. And so let me start. She gave me the voucher.
Yeah.
I said, okay. She sent me the application. It was a quick 2-page application, really, really quick. Send it back. They were like, okay, we'll send the inspector. Before we send the inspector, this is the list of what we're going to be looking for. And it was literally like outlets, the AC, the
Oh, so
heater.
they spell it out
It
to
has
you,
to be
right?
living space, right?
Sure.
And I failed the first inspection because one outlet was wiggly. I was like, really? Okay. I set up another inspection, tied up the outlet, and I passed. And then after that, like your money, like, so basically it's a voucher. The program pays for an amount of the rent amount, and then the tenant pays the rest of it based on their income.
Okay, so let's just say, for simplicity's sake, you listed your house for rent for $3,000. So Section 8 will cover a portion of that $3,000, and the tenant will take care of the rest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the amount that each one pays for your house, it's all on them. It's whatever the tenant qualifies with them. So say in my scenario, Section 8 pays about 80% of my rent at my home. Every first of the month, my money is in my bank account before my mortgage payment even kicks in, right? So that's a relief. And then the tenant pays her portion. She sells me, Venmo me, deposit it into my account.
Okay,
whatever.
so it goes directly to you.
Yes.
She doesn't go through like
No.
for Section 8.
Mhm.
Okay.
It goes directly to me, however I want my payment. That's super, super helpful. I think when people don't know about the program, you automatically think it's going to be people that are not reliable,
Yes.
people that don't have a job, people that are going to trash your home. You know, like, it's not true.
Seems like there's a lot of misconceptions.
There's facts,
Okay.
right? Like, you're going to get those tenants with or without Section 8. Like, there's going to be tenants out there that are not reliable.
Yep.
Trash your house with or without Section 8, right? You can't avoid that. But Section 8 qualifies these people. So in the event that the house is no longer safe because they trashed it, they lose the program.
They lose the program.
Yeah.
Now, are you responsible as the landlord for any of those damages to have to repair?
I can repair them, or I can choose to lose the program as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So obviously I'll choose to repair.
Yeah.
But if I said, I don't want to deal with this anymore, tenants are horrible, I want them out,
Yeah.
it would start a legal, like, get out of my house, and I don't have to participate with the program anymore.
So it doesn't seem like it almost seems there's less risk with going Section 8 than if it's just renting your house on the fair market, because
Definitely.
yeah, your rent is guaranteed with this program.
Yeah.
So that's, as a landlord, that seems like one of the biggest concerns you have. Like, you want your rent paid. So like you said, there's a lot of misconceptions. If you're an investor who's looking to get into this and maybe even purchase a home for Section 8, is there ways that they could find out what they would get for rent, like on a home, or is it all dependent on the actual Section 8 applicant?
It's the applicant that determines the amount of the voucher. It's the applicant. So there's applicants that are families, working families, and it depends on their household. So obviously, if they say it's a family of 2 adults and 3 kids, it's 5 in a household, they will qualify for something a lot bigger. So their voucher will be bigger. This program is also very popular with the senior population that are on like Social Security, retirement, and they can't afford a $2,000 home, right?
No?
But they can afford a studio with Section 8 or a 1-bedroom with Section 8. So that program can go from anyone that needs a space for one individual to a bigger household. And it depends on their needs that the voucher is what type of voucher they're gonna get, basically.
Okay, so it sounds like it's very dependent on the person who applied for it. And one thing you mentioned to me earlier is that they have almost like a housing crisis. There's not enough Section 8 housing. Yeah. So this might be an opportunity for anyone who's a landlord out there, like, to look into how to register my home to accept Section 8 tenants, which I think is a great thing because, real estate, there's many different ways and opportunities to make money in real estate through investing. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about too is, with the years you have in real estate, have you found what is your ideal client?
Whoa. I would take any client, but I don't think there's especially here in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about that, and I was thinking of how I love that this journey is here in Phoenix, because it's so diverse. Like, you have everything. You have people like me coming from other states. You have people that live in other states and want to invest in Phoenix because it's still so Phoenix is like a city that you find everything that you want, that you can possibly desire in a city, plus the landscape and plus the beautiful sunsets and
Yes.
sunrises. But it's still affordable. So there's people even investing from other states. There's people moving here to retire. And then there's the homes where they've been here all their lives and they just need to downgrade or upgrade, or now they want an acre lot, or some people want a condo in downtown Phoenix. So I don't think there's like an ideal customer because it's so much. If I was probably in San Diego, I would probably get the same type of clients because of how San Diego's built. But Phoenix is so diverse. I can't even pick one. I would love to work with all of them.
Yes.
But I do get a lot of families.
A lot of families. First-time home buyers?
Yes, first-time home buyers. I think it all goes to the language because I do speak Spanish. So it's their first time buying a home. I also find out that the clients that I've had that probably don't have the families come to me because they haven't taken that step because they don't trust someone to take that step. So I helped 25, 26-year-olds that just want their first home. That's super rewarding. So I don't think I have a clientele specifically.
Okay. No specific clientele, but it seems like you're able to help your clients by building trust, because that's one thing you mentioned, because it is true. If you're a first generation home buyer, it's hard to trust someone, especially when it comes to, buying a home, which is one of the most important things you could do in your life. So when you talked about being able to speak Spanish, I know there's a lot of misconceptions in the Latino community about purchasing homes. And you said it earlier today. You said that there's not enough education in Spanish. It sounds like that was something you wanted to work on and help educate people.
Yeah. The main reason why, again, does it affect me? Of course, but it mostly affects the client, right? Because now they're backed up on a goal that they could have started a year ago if they had informed themselves correctly, or second, not run into having what they call a bad experience. For example, somebody DMs me on social media and says, I want to qualify for this home. And I send them to you. And then you're like, well, you don't get approved for that home because of your income, because of your credit, because this is lies. The person prior to you told me that I could get qualified under my condition and to pay X amount of money into the home. So now it makes you look like you're not doing your job, or I don't want to do the job because somebody else painted a very beautiful picture. That's not true.
All fairy tales and unicorns and rainbows, right? Don't worry.
Or they went to their sister, their brother, their, I don't know, peer, and they said oh, you just bought a home? Yes. Tell me about your process. How did you qualify? Okay. And then you tell me how you qualified, and now I'm expecting that my qualification is going to be the same as yours.
Exactly, right? Because, the person who's self-employed or the person who has a W-2 job is going to get a different loan program than the person who has a self-employed. It's not a one-size-fits-all is what it sounds like.
And people need to, what I want to encourage people is to ask the questions. Don't stick with doubts. Ask the questions. You're not in a commitment because you ask a question. If you DM me and you ask me a question, you're not obligated to even use me as a realtor. Just ask the questions. I'll send you to a professional. You either like it, you don't, but at least you have a start point from someone that is doing the business, which would be you guys with the loan.
Yeah, because there are so many different loan programs out there. And, I always say information is power. If you're able to know, maybe you can't buy a home today, or maybe it's not in your cards, but if you have the information to know what you need to do to purchase one later on, it makes the whole journey so much clearer, because I feel like we need clarity when it comes to this, because there is so many people telling us different stories. It's so easy, but it's not really easy if you have a 500 credit score and, you don't have everything the cards aren't in your favor at that point. So it's just, knowing what you need to do and moving forward there. I want to wrap this up with a couple of questions, 2 more questions. So if you can go back in time to when Liz was a fresh realtor,
I'm still fresh. Yeah.
No, for day one.
Okay.
Day one. If you could tell Liz day one, one piece of advice, what would you tell Liz day one in real estate?
Oh gosh, this is gonna sound a little bit selfish because when I started being a realtor, I had a job that I absolutely loved.
Mhm.
Like my full-time job, I absolutely loved it. I worked really hard to get to where I was. But I remember going like 1 year, oh, this is like a part-time gig. This is no pressure,
Okay. Yeah.
and I remember running into a realtor and she said, she heard me say this and she was like, no, like, you don't understand. Once you're good at this, you want to drop everything and
Hmm.
you want to go. And I said, I was like, no, you're crazy. Like, you're crazy because you have a second income. Like, she was married. That was a big difference. If you fail, you can rely. And also, you probably didn't love the job like I do. I kind of want to say I regret that because it was like where I would have gotten, like, I would have been a lot more ahead right now
Mm.
than I was 3 years ago. I would have started and I would just set my operations, set like how I function every day.
Yeah.
I have already like met a lot more people. I would probably help people through like a lot more situations, not just on the weekends. So I would have probably like, once I said, I like this, I'm getting the traction, I should have went all in.
Okay. So it sounds like it took you a little bit longer than you would have wanted to go all in, but now that you saw what real estate has and the potential it has on your life, you dove like head first, and I love it. I love it. And now for my last departing question, if you can give one piece of advice to anyone trying to get in the real estate profession, this is someone who's maybe getting out of high school, college, or just wants a change in a career, what would you tell that person?
Oh my God, this is such a fun question because I just had one nephew called me from San Diego.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, Thea, are you looking to do your own, like have a team? And I said, why? You want to work with me? And he said, no, but my sister is in Phoenix and she's getting out of high school and she needs to figure out, she's tempted, but she's trying to figure out this is something for her. And I was like, man, have her contact me because I think people need guidance. At the minute, like imagine if I had that guidance when I was, remember the 20-year-old.
Yeah, the one
Yes.
working at like the 2 a.m.
Yes. Okay. 20-year-old, somebody had said like, no, like do it this way. I would have not panicked. But I panicked because it seemed like such a process.
Mm.
So this 18-year-old that I'm actually going to meet on Sunday, I'm very excited because I want to be a mentor for her. And I told her where I got my license, how did I study over text, and I'm going to meet her. And once I see her, I'll be like, okay, like I can read people a lot. That's what I do in my job. I develop people and I can take people from not having the experience to top experience, GM level, district manager level. So that's a strength that I have. I'll see her and I'll be like, this is the steps that you need to take.
Oh, it makes it so
And
clear.
do not go in this without a mentor. Do not forget about giving a bigger split. Forget about that. Like any money that you pay for your education, the first year at least, is so valuable. You're not going to make mistakes. You're not going to give people bad experiences. Like you're going to fight for your client's needs and you're going to protect your client a lot more because someone is guiding you through the process, right? So don't go at it alone. Like it's not what you learn in school. Like
So
stop.
it's that's good because it sounds like you're saving people so much time
Yeah.
by getting a mentor,
Yeah.
going through the heartache, going through the pain of, all those learning curves where you could,
Yes.
prevent all that.
Yes.
So I love it. Well, thank you so much, Liz. How can people find you on social media?
They can actually find me. I'm very, very, very active right now on TikTok. Lorena Lizbeth Niebla. That's my full name. I think we can put it on the captions or something. And then on Instagram, I'm barely starting to get that flowing because I got my Instagram hacked. And all my followers left. That's a true story.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
it's El Niebla 17. But follow me there, and I would love to answer any questions or help anyone with their real estate goals.
All right, boom. Thank you so much for watching and joining us at the Real Estate Professionals Podcast. It's been a pleasure, and peace out.